to be who I am meant to be and become the best version of myself. Thanks to DACA, I can now work as a youth organizer in my community, supporting and educating young adults on various issues that they face. I provide support and build the leadership skills of youth in the communities of Long Island. I also work in partnership with school districts to build better relationships between students, parents, and the schools. Through that work, I can put my language ability and my training towards helping all members of my community. DACA has helped me and allowed me to give back tremendously. Now all of it is at risk. When the termination of DACA was announced by the Trump administration, I knew in that moment my life would change negatively. I felt angry, sad. I became fearful, anxious, and overwhelmed. I had a hard time sleeping for many nights after. My father had many health complications after the announcements. My mother did too. As a member of Make the Road, I found strength when we filed a lawsuit against the illegal termination of DACA. I am extremely inspired by the plaintiffs and beyond grateful for all the people who worked tirelessly to get us to where we are today. For my parents and all our parents who work so hard to give us an education and better opportunities, they are the original dreamers. I am especially grateful for all the participants of the Home is Here March, who marched 230 miles from New York City to this very spot. They put their lives in danger to make an important and powerful statement and to send a clear message to all people in power and all over that our home is here. That's right! That's right. Today, we stand here because we refuse to give up the fight on DACA and because we want to be in the right side of history. Today, we say to the Supreme Court that we are living and breathing human beings and our lives are on the line. There are kids and entire communities attached to us and dependent on us. So today, we say to the Supreme Court that our home is here and we are here to stay.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Marcy from Make the Road, New York. Up next, we have Bamba Jean Bamba, DACA recipient from Court d'Ivory, who starred in Black Panther.
How's it going, man? Good, how are you? Thank you. Hello.
How's everybody doing? Undocumented! Thank you to everyone who stopped whatever they were doing to be here today. Your fight and the fact that you are here today shows that America, Americans, and this nation has hope. The fact that we can stand here and protest freely shows that we have hope in America. So never lose your hope. Never lose your fire. So my name is Bamba John Bamba, and I am from the Ivory Coast in West Africa. Where are my African undocumented people? Yeah, we're in the house. So I don't take it lightly to be here because even in immigration and undocumented circles, we can have challenges with diversity. And we have 500,000 undocumented black people in this nation. So immigration is not just a Latino issue, it is also an African issue, a Korean issue, an Asian issue, an Indian issue, an American issue. So you heard that I was starring in Black Panther. I wasn't starring. but I was in the film. And I was the first one to fight Black Panther. So, my story is like a lot of undocumented people in America today. A lot of us, unlike what the news will tell you, is we came here illegally. No, I came here legally with my parents when I was 10. Many people came here legally with visas with their parents when they were 1, 2, 11-month-old. And because this country has a broken, outdated immigration system, we cannot legalize ourselves. There's no pathway to citizenship for people like us. There's 800,000 of us and millions of others who are in a situation where if there were right laws, if there was a pathway, people would stand in line. We want nothing else but to stand in line and be able to have our papers. If you're with me, say, oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! All right. So, being in the film industry, away from Washington, D.C., I've been able to see how too often we talk about immigration as issues, when we need to talk about the lives and the ways that those lives are impacted by those issues. We need to focus on the people first, the central narrative of how we define how or what it means to be American. And if we want any chance at moving this political needle, especially with the presidential election that's coming up, we know that immigration is going to be the central issue. So unless we start telling our stories, unless we start sharing our truths, and unless we start telling people who we are, that is the only way that we could create real and lasting change. And that is why I had no choice but to share my own personal story 2 years ago when this administration decided that they wanted to terminate DACA. Now, my whole career was on the line. I was coming out in Black Panther. I was on NBC's The Good Place. I didn't tell any producer at Marvel. I didn't tell any producers at NBC. I prayed to my God and I said, God, I'm sick and tired of living in fear. I'm sick and tired of being paralyzed by fear. I'm sick and tired of having nightmares. I'm sick and tired of living in the shadows. So I decided to share my story with the world, just so that Americans in America would get a chance to know that DACA recipients are just like every other American that's walking around. We are the teachers of your children. We are the caretakers. We are the servants. We do everything in this nation. And we're also actors in blockbuster films and hit television shows that come inside your home and that you love. So I came to this country in 1992 when I was 10 years old with my parents because they were fleeing political persecution in the Ivory Coast in Côte d'Ivoire. We landed in the South Bronx. Now, I only spoke French, and in the South Bronx, they speak English. So they put me in a Spanish ESL class, because that's all there was for someone like me that spoke only French. And the only kid in the entire school that could only speak French was from Guinea. And this guy tricked me around the entire day. I asked my teacher, I asked him, how do I tell the teacher if I could go to the bathroom? He said, raise your hand and say, kiss my ass. So I raised my hand as a nice African kid. I stood up from my desk and I said, teacher, kiss my ass. So as you can imagine, that was probably one of the most traumatic days of my life, my first day in school in America. And I ended up in a fight And then my father came, and he was mad at me because that's the one thing he told me not to do. So right after that happened, I decided I'm going to learn English. I'm going to watch as many TV shows like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, movies like Coming to America, just so I could perfect the American accent. I used to listen to hip-hop, to the Wu-Tang Clan, to Refugee Camp, to Wyclef, until I could speak English perfectly. So my parents applied for political asylum when I was 10 years old. In 2014, which is 20 years later, was when that application was finally approved. Now, because of the immigration backlog, it took 20 years. And in that time, I was over 21 and I was married, which disqualified me from having a green card. So today, my parents that filed that same asylum case have their green card, but their 10-year-old son and my older brother and sister, we are undocumented, standing on DACA. Because there's no pathway, because of this red tape, because of this politics, I don't have a pathway to citizenship. And not just me, but millions of others are in the same circumstance. So when people say, hey, do it legally, stand in line, just say, we have, give us a line, give us a road. We'll stand in there right now and today. Okay, I'm being told to wrap it up. I can talk a lot. But one thing I will end on is when I shared my story, I looked up different organizations and I landed on Define American and the amazing work that Jose Antonio Vargas is doing. All the Defense American chapters, where you at? So now I'm an ambassador with Define American, and I was doing a press tour and just sharing my story and about Black Panther and how a small African boy from a little place like the Ivory Coast is in the biggest movie in the world. And he's also a DACA recipient. And I got an email from my agent, my Hollywood agent, and this is what she said, and I'll end there. I haven't seen this before, and I just looked it up. You should be very proud, and I'm sure that your family is proud of you. You represented yourself and all other dreamers so well. I cried watching this interview. I wish you all the luck and success you deserve in this endeavor. I thank you for giving me a face to this issue, because I personally didn't know I knew any dreamers, any DACA recipients. And clearly it is entirely possible that I know many more and don't realize it. Putting your name and your face to this DACA conversation does everything you mean it to do. It makes it so much clearer that this is a human issue and not a political issue. And I think the folks who aren't engaged anymore just don't understand it. The more you put yourself out there, the more people will understand and have empathy. It is insane that we are where we are in this current political environment. My heart truly does bleed for you. I don't pray, but I will do my version of it for you. And I will do my best to be open-minded and keep you in mind as much as possible for whatever appropriate work opportunities come across my desk. Now, I leave you with this. Again, it's about to heat up. We are here today, and we're basically just starting this fight. Everyone who hates immigrants with anti-immigrant sentiments, they're going to come out, and they're going to be as loud as ever. It's going to be scary, but I need all of us to pray. I need all of us to share our stories. Share your story. It doesn't have to be on the news. Just share it with your teacher, share it with your friend, share it with the servant, share it with anybody you can, because you put a face to the issue. And when you do that, they cannot ignore us. We're here to stay. I also want to thank all the organizers. I want to thank CASA. I want to thank NACASEC. I want to thank Make the road. And all the students, the young undocumented students who started this fight way before Obama was even elected, way before DACA even came in the picture. You guys inspired me to share my story, and I hope I inspire you to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking truth to power. Woo. And we all love the Black Panther, don't we? Yeah! All right, so up next we have Vicente Rodriguez, who is an educator with the National Education Association.
Good morning, everyone. So once again, my name is Vicente Rodriguez, and I am humbly delighted to be here with every one of you. And I want to honor everyone and thank everyone for making it out here from all over the nations. I know some of you walked over here, some of you flew over here. I know there's some, sacrifices you had to make to be here today. And so I thank you, all of you, to be here together and, and with love and community. We're going to see how things play out, but okay, so it is truly an honor to be here, and I am humbled by this experience. I am one of 20,000 educators and aspiring educators with DACA. I am a first-generation scholar who graduated high school in 2005. I am the first in my family to receive an associate's from San Bernardino Valley College in 2012. I am the first to be I was the first to be admitted in a 4-year university and graduate with 2 bachelors from the University of California, Riverside. I graduated with a degree in English and Ethnic Studies, and also, as of last month, I was just admitted into the University of Redlands for their Master's Credentials program. And I will begin my courses in the spring of 2020. So this makes me the first and only, let me go back. Okay, so, and right now I currently work as a guest teacher at the San Bernardino City Unified School District, working with students with disabilities in a moderate to severe class. And my goal is to be teaching in my own elementary class by the next 18 to 24 months. Okay, I am a middle child of 5 siblings, and the only one who was not born in this country. My parents did the best they could to shelter me from living this traumatic oppression. I did not comprehend the concept of being undocumented, even though I had known to be so all my life. I grew up thinking that the idea of not having papers was nothing really big or nothing really to fear about. Instead, I had to worry about surviving the conditions of poverty, gang violence, drugs, and death. I had to worry about surviving, not my citizenship status. This all changed as science grew grimmer. Mi familia consistently reminded not to divulge my nation of birth, all while staring at me worriedly. Like most immigrant parents, they left everything behind in search of a better life, as our great founding fathers of this nation did centuries ago. Mis padres are the real dreamers here. For they sought out the American dream. And in that American dream, they knew the importance of an education. They knew that they known it, and it was known to myself and my siblings. As they would say, es más fácil levantar un lápiz que una pala. In translation, it is easier to pick up a pencil than a shovel. Yet, my parents didn't know how to navigate the U.S. educational system, nor understood English well enough to tell me, hey, this is how you do it, mijo. I had a hard time processing this information. I had a hard time processing information at school that resulted in me in receiving my high school diploma during summer school after graduation. And I had to figure out the educational system myself. Since the age of 12, I had to help out my family by working with my father during the weekends until the age of 18. I remember at the age of 18, I naively tried to participate in what many call teenage norms. My best friend and I searched the malls and fast food restaurants for employment. We had taken driver's ed in school, looked forward in receiving our licenses. We were anxious and ready to transition into young American adults. I noticed a stark difference though. He, of course, was a citizen, and I was not. He was able to get approved for his license and be hired for a job, and I was forced to struggle to obtain cash-paying jobs that did not allow advancement, nor did it allow any type of benefit, and at times offered salaries that were well below minimum wage. There was no other choice but to take on these jobs to continue to provide for my family and pay for my higher education. I came to know that I was different when I was not a Californian American, yet I enjoyed these things. I enjoyed the same thing as they did. I pledged my allegiance to the same flag. I even consider myself more Californian than the palm trees in Venice Beach on the hottest summer's day. Yet, this country did not love me back as much as I loved contributing to my community, my state, and my country. While in community college, I would see my friends progress in their academics with the opportunity of receiving financial aid and federal grants while I paid out of state tuition my first semester in college. Even after obtaining the privilege of paying in-state tuition, I had to take on 1 or 2 courses at a time for 7 years. Again, all while working below minimum wage, providing for my family, and paying off multiple traffic citations, car impoundment fees, simply because I was driving without a driver's license. Life does not stop simply because one does not have these privileges. In total, it took me 9 years to finally transfer into the University of California, Riverside. I was that kid on a 10-year ed plan, and I didn't even receive my doctorate. When DACA arrived in August of 2012, you can only imagine how much of a blessing this was. It allowed me to take advantages of its privileges. I didn't have to. DACA provided relief of some of the stress. It provided the courage to come out of the shadows. Not only did it keep the dream alive, it manifested the hope and pathway to achieve it. Even though this executive action was a band-aid solution, I knew that it possessed powerful positive effects though I understood its fragility. I understood this was temporary. This may be a small thing for most people, but to me, this meant everything. This meant that I could finally receive my driver's license and no longer drive in fear while consistently looking at the rearview mirror in hopes I don't get pulled over. This meant that I could legally work in a real place where I could advance with benefits. This meant that I could afford to attend college as a full-time student. This meant that I could have health and dental care. Finally, I was granted a Social Security and a work permit for 7 years now, and I was able to finish my BA with two DACA renewals and get into grad school on my 3rd renewal. I remember as a child looking up at the bluest and darkest skies and seeing these amazing planes soaring beautifully over the horizon. My siblings would tell me their experiences when boarding on a plane and stating how cool it was to be flying. I was jealous and at times envious that they could travel and I couldn't. I still remember the first time at the age of 25 when I flew. It felt as if I was getting on a roller coaster for the first time. The jittery and sweaty hands, chills going down my spine, my racing heart telling me that I was ready. I took out my camera and documented my emotions as the plane ascended into the sky and I looked out into the heavens. I was so motivated that I even wrote a poem about it, how the universe and I were together as one, and I thank God for this moment. With DACA, I had the opportunity to travel and board multiple planes to present in front of lawyers in Utah, teachers in California, attend conferences, and advocate with the National Education Association. With DACA, I had the ability to inform teachers about undocumented students all over the country. With DACA, I was able to complete my undergraduate studies. With DACA, I was able to put my foot in the door into the K-12 educational field as a guest teacher. With DACA, I was able to pay taxes and contribute to and give back to my community. With DACA, I was finally somewhat normal and accepted. With DACA, I was able to find a community of people like myself who once lived in the shadows and who knew how to enjoy the temporary privileges afforded by the program. This was all possible because of DACA, and only through DACA. This is why we must continue to fight and to uphold it. Since rescinding of DACA on September 5th of 2017, the window of opportunity began narrowing down, and the pressure to achieving my dream has been intensely building up more and more every day. It is as if my career is in my arm's length reach. I could almost possess it. Hold on. Okay, I can almost possess it in my arms as my fingers stretches to its fullest capabilities, wiggling to grasp it. I can see it. It's right there before me. But am I sure that I'll be able to teach by the time I graduate my master's credential program in 2021? For others, the rescinding of DACA meant that the window of opportunity was completely closed coming into and out of high school. There is now a generation of dreamers who will live a life, and has been living a life, as I has once lived prior to DACA. I do not wish this lifestyle upon them. Again, I do not wish this lifestyle onto them. Because we are those undocumented Americans that love this country because it is the only one we have known. But if this country is unwilling to love me, and for those that I know aren't able to love us, then that means there may be a potential exodus of proactive tax-paying professionals who are willing to contribute to the communities and making a difference. We are asking you to see us as the true Americans that we are. My original idea of American dream was that of football, barbecues, and consuming so much that you would have no need for anything else. But that is not what being American is about. Being an American is hitting the streets, fighting against any type of oppression imposed onto your community. As our founding fathers did. It meant speaking to your representative and marching when your community was cheated. That is what we have been doing, and that is what we continue to do. We are not a political pawn that politicians can exploit during elections and forget about for the rest of their terms. We are resistant, and we will check your privileges. Our community is no longer one that centers in a 10-mile radius. We are no longer hidden and timid. We are a global community in a global economy with a respectable set of skills. To reject a refugee is to be un-American. to defer dreams, education, and exclude a certain ethnic population is un-American. Being American is based on meritocracy, but even when my grit and my merit supersedes that of a white male counterpart, it is quickly reduced to affirmative action. To not see us as American clearly suggests that our intellectual capital, our social and economic contribution to this country is not wanted nor respected. This will provide the opportunity for other countries to tap onto our epistemology. Okay. All right, sorry, I have to. Okay. So, this is why I aspire to become an educator. I made it life missions to make sure students would never, ever experience such events and disheartened in their pursuit of education. This is especially true for in urban neighborhoods who struggle in socioeconomic hardship, gang violence, and other domestic abuse. I aspire to be the source that tells my students that college, higher education, and your dreams are truly achievable. That high school is not the end of their academic career. And I will never stop fighting for the college affordability and the right for their education. It is a dream of mine to make, and that their agency of survivors depend, all right, moving on. All right, so once again, my name is Vicente Esteban Rodriguez Tapia. And I am undocumented. I am educated. And I am completely unapologetic about it. Thank you, everyone.
All right, so we're going to do a chant. Everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go,
People want to know
people wanna know
who we are.
who we are.
So we tell them. We are the immigrants.
We are the immigrants.
The mighty, mighty immigrants. Fighting for justice. And our liberation.
All right, once again, give it up for Vicente. Up next, we have Misael Garcia from Casa. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. I say, show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. One more time, show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Hello everyone, my name is Misael Garcia, better known as Misa el Immigrante, because that's what I am. I am an immigrant. I am proud to be an immigrant. I am proud to be a dreamer. I am proud to be documented, undocumented, and I am proud to be here today in front of all of you. I want to share real quick. My story is similar to all of your story. I came here at a young age because my parents, they made a decision to provide a better life for my family, my brothers, my sister, and we all know the rest. I went to school here, went to elementary school, I learned the language, and throughout the whole time, I've been fighting to protect immigrant rights. But let me tell you something, guys. I want to tell everybody that is here today that don't ever forget where you come from, because you will, if you forget, you will not know where you're going. As I was standing over there, I was listening to everybody, and tears were coming out of my eyes because of the energy that is around us right now. And then I thought I was the only one crying, but then I look around
and I saw a couple girls over there doing the same thing. That is the energy that is happening here today, because this is not just something that about DACA. This is about our lives. This is our lives. We have been here for so many years. Myself, I came here when I was 12. I'm 29 years now, and I've been here over half of my life. This is the country that I know the most. I live in Baltimore City. I am proud to be part of that city. I've seen how my community has grown in the past 10, 15 years, and we have not stopped. Currently, DACA has given me the opportunity to be places where I never thought I would be. Like my friend before me, I was able to get on a plane just like many of you have done. It's a great feeling to get on a plane for the first time inside the country and be able to travel around the country. But that is not enough. DACA has opened doors for me. Maybe I never expected to be where I am today. Currently, I am an ESOL paraeducator at elementary middle school. And I work with kids from 3rd grade all the way to 8th grade. I am a father of a 2-year-old girl. And as you can see, I get emotional every time I talk about my daughter because she's a blessing to me. Just like DACA has been a blessing to me and to many of you guys. And because that is a blessing to me, I am willing to protect it. I am willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that it stays alive, to make sure that we can continue being part of this country. Because I know that you look at me right here, right now, and you think about, I know what he means. I know where he's coming from. I've been there, I am there, and I know where he's going. I know he's gonna do great things, just like I am. Every dreamer here has done the impossible to make sure that we are all here together. I want to tell the administration to remember my face. Remember my face. To the administration of our current president, remember this face, because this guy here in front of you, he's one of many that took part of a lawsuit against the Donald Trump administration. And that is not the only thing that I'm willing to do. I have fasted for DACA. I have fought for DACA around the country, around here in D.C. I've been in front of the Supreme Court many times, together with my friends here right behind me, together with all of you. And I ain't giving up. And I'm asking everybody here right now to not give up. Because if we give up right now, we're gonna lose everything. We are closer than ever. We cannot give up right now. I want to make sure everybody understands that the fight is hard. And you guys know that. Pero se puede decir o no? No quiero tomar mucho tiempo, pero quiero tomar este tiempo rapidito para darle las gracias a todos los soñadores que se encuentran aquí presentes. Que sepan que desde el fondo de mi corazón voy a luchar enfrente de las líneas para dar mi vida, para poder proteger este permiso de trabajo, esta vida que nos ha dado, esta oportunidad que hemos tenido, porque nosotros merecemos estar aquí. No conocemos otro lugar más que este lugar. Este es nuestro hogar, esta es nuestra familia, este es nuestro país, and we're not gonna give up. I ain't giving up, not right now, not ever. Remember this face, porque yo soy Miss el Inmigrante, and I'm gonna keep fighting until the end. I'm not giving up. Y por cada uno de ustedes, mis soñadores, no se rindan, echen para adelante, luchen por su familia, luchen por su gente, luchen por su comunidad, luchen por los nuevos soñadores que están entrando, por sus padres que los dijeron aquí. No se olviden que ellos lucharon por ustedes para que ustedes estuviesen aquí. So hoy luchen por ellos, luchen por ustedes. ¿Por qué? Porque este es nuestro futuro, es el futuro de nosotros. Y no solo nosotros, somos miles, pero también somos millones, y la administración de este país no nos puede ignorar, no puede decir que ya no existimos, no nos puede dar la espalda, y no lo vamos a permitir, porque todos los días vamos a hacer algo para poder proteger a nuestras familias y poder protegernos nosotros mismos. I am undocumented. I am
undocumented. I am undocumented. Sin papeles. Sin papeles. Se puede. Se puede. Yes, we can. What? 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 Pa'lante, pa'lante, pa' atrás ni pa' coger impulso, mi gente, se puede. Latinos stand up, immigrants stand up, dreamers stand up, all my community stand up. We are here to stay. We are here to stay. We ain't going nowhere. Desde el fondo de mi corazón, gracias, gracias por este momento. Y recuerden que ni la lluvia ni el viento detiene el movimiento. Otra vez, la lluvia. Ni la lluvia, el viento. Gracias. Latinos and the Dreamers. Vamos para adelante.
Give it up one more time for Misa Garcia from Casa. I know it's a little bit cold out here. Come on, can we make some noise for the folks that are inside, letting them know that we are here. Up next, I have Marissa Molina from Forward.us.
I want to start by saying thank you to Misael. I don't know about you, but I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. My name is Marissa Molina, and I'm here representing Forward US from Colorado. It is such an honor to be here with all of you this morning. 2 years ago, we walked the halls of Congress to fight for our community. And it is because of those tireless efforts that we are at the Supreme Court today, securing our fundamental American right to justice. As we stand here this morning, I am reminded of the many people who came before us, those who fought to ensure that our country lives up to its ideals, that we are all created equal and endowed with inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We stand on the shoulders of giants. We stand here knowing that the greatness of this country has always been determined by the people who have dared to dream of an America that is more just and more inclusive, and those who have the courage to fight for it. And that is why I'm so proud to be here with all of you, because we're fighting to reimagine what it means to live out the American dream and fighting so that no one gets left behind. DACA has been an opportunity for me to pay it forward by becoming a teacher and helping my students understand the power of their own stories. In my classroom, we talk not just about striving for our own success, but the importance of reaching back and ensuring that when we walk through a door of opportunity, that we bring other people along with us. Now, as part of my work at Forward, I get to fight alongside DACA recipients in Colorado and across the country. And I see us doing this every single day. What I have found is that no matter where we are from, where we work, we are all fighting in our own way so that people in our families and in our communities don't get left behind. We are creating pathways of opportunity that we could have never imagined when we were still living in the shadows. But DACA has never been about being the first one to go to college, to own a home or a car, or to get a job that pays fairly. It's about not being the only one. DACA has been an opportunity to liberate our passions, unleash our dreams, and use them for the good of our community and the country that we all call home. That is why we have fought, and that is why we will continue to fight. Because this fight is so much bigger than any single one of us. It is about honoring the love and sacrifices of our parents. It is about keeping our families together. It is about fighting for those that didn't qualify for DACA. And it is about fighting for the 11 million people in our community that are undocumented and still because we will not be free until all of us are free. And that is why, regardless of the eventual outcome of today's hearing, we are going to continue to stand together. Whether it is in our classrooms, whether it is in the courts, or in our neighborhoods. We are going to be ready to fight for those who have been left behind and those that come after us, always with an unyielding determination to win. Our journey to this moment has not been easy, but it has awakened us to our power, and it has shown us that there are more people who are with us than those that are against us. And it has shown us what we already knew to be true, that our home is here.
Thank you, Marisa. So now we're gonna do some chants. We know that it's cold. We know that it's windy. We know that it's rainy, but that won't stop us, right? Because we're fired up and we're ready to fight back, right? All right, so when immigrant communities are under attack, what do we do? When DACA is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When our families are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black and brown communities are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Who's Supreme Court? Who's court? Who's court? Who's court? Who's court? Woo! Everywhere we go, people wanna know who we are. So we tell them we are the immigrants. The mighty, mighty immigrants. Fighting for justice. And our liberation. So everyone, we have some special guests here in the house, here in community with everyone. So we have Speaker Pelosi, who is standing by the stage. Leader Schumer, Senator Durbin, Senator Menendez, Senator Cortez Masto, Congresswoman Lujan, Congresswoman Royal Ballard, Congressman Castro, Congresswoman Sanchez, Congresswoman Garcia, Congresswoman Velasquez. Woo! Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. Home is here. 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 Everywhere we go. People wanna know. Who we are. So we tell them. We are the immigrants.
The mighty, mighty immigrants. Fighting for justice.
All right. So I know that there's some DC high schools and universities that walked out today, right? All right. So where is American University at? Where is DC International High School at? All right. Where is Trinity University at? All right. Are there any other schools that walked out today? Where is Gaithersburg High School at? CBU?
High School from Baltimore. Polytech from Baltimore. All right, everybody, let's give another shout out because I think the people inside still haven't heard us, still haven't heard that we're out here. So let's give it one more time. Sí se puede. 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 Sí se
Executive Vice President of Center for American Progress. Woo!
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I can't hear you. My name is Winnie Stackelberg, and I'm from the Center for American Progress, and I am so happy to join in such a diverse group of progressive advocates and leaders. Is it snowing? Yeah. Is it raining? Yeah. Does it matter? No. We know, sabemos, that DACA is legal and constitutional because of the multiple courts that have already rejected the Trump administration's attempt to rip DACA away from hundreds of thousands of people. We know, sabemos firsthand, just how critical DACA is to more than 825,000 people who have received it over the past 7 years, and to their families and communities as well. We know, sabemos, that the average DACA recipient came to the United States at age 7 and has been here for more than 20 years. This country is their home. We know, sabemos, that DACA recipients and their families help to support our national, state, and local economies by paying nearly $9 billion in taxes each year. We know that DACA recipients are entrepreneurs and job creators who employ 86,000 workers across the country. We know that at a time where we as a nation have a shortage of doctors, and in particular doctors of color, that 27,000 DACA recipients work in healthcare occupations. People like Ali Reza Torabi, a first-year student at Loyola University in Chicago's Stritz School of Medicine, who wants to give back to his community. We know, sabemos, that DACA recipients have families, including more than 250,000 children born here in the United States, who rely on them each and every day. We've seen the heartless damage the Trump administration has inflicted through its inhumane policy of family separation. We've seen the devastating images of children crying out for their parents. We cannot allow it to happen once again to more than 250,000 kids within a DACA recipient parent. Are we going to allow that to happen? No. Are we going to allow that to happen? No. Home is not just our campaign slogan. It's the everyday reality for DACA recipients in nearly every corner of this nation. Today, all of our communities must speak with one voice to tell the Supreme Court that it must keep DACA alive, that it must reject the Trump administration's illegal attempt to destroy this family. That is why I am so proud to stand with DACA recipients today and to say to them, we see you. We see your families. We see the sacrifices you and your families have made and the hopes for the future. We know what is at stake, and we will never stop fighting with you. Home is here. 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 Thank you so very much.
Ni la lluvia, ni el viento detiene el movimiento. Ni la lluvia, ni el viento detiene el movimiento. Ni la lluvia, ni el viento detiene el movimiento. Woo! Up next, we have Patrice Lawrence from the UndocuBlack Network. Give
ambivalent about being here today? Who has cried in the last week? Who has been frustrated as hell for the past 2 years? Who has been angry? Who is tired of seeing our bodies, our stories, our voices used in political games? We are documented and we are here to stay, and home is here. So I'm going to invite up to the stage really quickly Diana from the Document Network to share a quick poem, followed by NECA, and then I'll close up and we're going to talk about DACA and TPS. It'll be fun.
Hi. Okay, I'm just gonna get into it. What do you do when you cannot travel back to the country or land or home? Separation separates you from your ability to cry or ache for the memories that simply are not there. What do you do when you're told to leave your emotions at the border? You place your mask ever so gently, appropriating the actions you see on your own TV that vilifies you, passing as an American to earn your citizenship box, to follow the master narrative. But that ever so gentle placement comes with a violence of drowning immigrant with your tears, an American, the makeshift lifesaver that buoys you out of the multiplicity of your identities. You're seeking this external validation your immigrant status won't grant you. As if immigrant is a covering that you can scrub off, as if your status is a record that can be expunged if you hold yourself to the standard of good example. If only you push more, do more, be more, in a system that was never created to see us, never created to validate us, and never created to be our totality. As if a document only serves to complement the complement of good example. As if a document can append or amend a system that made us pretend that the exception was the rule. When our existence is politicized, we bloom rebelliously, bloom resiliently, and bloom relentlessly. What do you do when your dreams to bloom become dreams deferred? What do you do when you're not lucky enough to have lawyers holding a flame to melt the ice? You live in that liminal space subject to the ignorance that created your imprisonment, waiting for the ice that detains your humanity to thaw, praying that a change of status is like a change of state. Thinking in metaphors because it provides for some semblance of control. 3 letters to unite us into one, in a home away from home. Grateful for the opportunities, but remembering you deserve better. Deserving the chance to dream as hard as you work. Not working to twist your tongue to unfamiliar jargon. Your love language is sometimes being left alone. And when you choose to talk, uplifting the margins of the margins, having the collective strength to stop hiding and start flourishing. We do it with each other because we can't do it alone. Organizing communities and building power, making a way out of no way to ensure our safety, dignity, and humanity. Making a home in a country founded on the freedom of movement, we each have a story.
With a word. Good morning, everybody. Buenos días a todos. Thank you, everyone. My name is NECA, and I'm an Afro-Italian black immigrant woman. I am here today standing with all my African, Caribbeans, Afro-Latinos, and African-American in solidarity with all our immigrants, Asians, Muslims, Latinx that are on DACA. I am here also to recognize the essential contributions of all veterans, no matter where they were born, including DACA veterans that are fighting deportation and are fearing being deported. It is time that Africans, Caribbean, Afro-Latinos, and African-Americans unite in recognizing that immigration is a black issue. Yeah,
No, it should not take 400 years to recognize the fact that whether you were forced, whether it's voluntary, immigration is a black issue. We are bonded by the strength of our ancestors. As a daughter of Nigerian immigrant parents, I am fearful about our communities and safety and dignity. For the sake of the young people impacted by this program who productively continue to contribute to our country, I plead that all of us keep supporting DACA recipients. All of us, si se puede! Si se puede! Si se puede! Immigrants don't only come from Latin American countries, they come from Jamaica, Kenya, Nigeria, Eritrea, Dominica, Trinidad, South Korea, India, Pakistan. We are from all over the world. We are here to stay. 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 And in that vein today, I am here to fight alongside my Latin hermanos and hermanas to remind everyone that DACA has transformed the life of many people. Many families are being affected by this. Imagine aspiring doctors, lawyers, nurses, members, people that take care of you, that all of a sudden have to jump ship because of this immigration situation. We can no longer sustain this. Black folks oftentimes are more racially profiled, and if undocumented, and are going through a lot of problems. I'm here to fight for everyone, all of us. Just in my community, in the great state of Texas, there are over 230,000 DACA recipients, out of which 60,000 live in my home of Houston, Texas. Can you imagine the kind of disruption, the kind of life that families will be facing if this is taken away from us? We cannot continue to rip apart hundreds of thousands of families. We cannot allow that any longer. DACA recipients can no longer be held in bondage by politicians. We can no longer be bargaining chips. We are here to stay. I want you to imagine for a second how these people's lives will be impacted and the consequences. DACA will continue to live forever for all of us, and we're going to keep fighting for what is right. For all the immigrants, all of us who have been hiding in the shadows, you are not alone. My Asian brother and Muslim friends, we are not going anywhere. We are here to stay. Our home is here. Vamos a seguir adelante, luchando por todos. Gracias. Whose court? Our court. Whose court? Our court. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. I said, tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. So our next speakers are going to come up and they're going to talk about TPS, temporary protected status. Any TPS holders in the house? January 2017, 13 countries had TPS, temporary protected status. 1 country had DED. As of today, this administration has killed TPS and DED for 9 countries. We say no more and we say shame. Shame. We say shame. Shame. But we are strong, we are united, we have lawsuits and we are fighting back. TPS holders come from Sierra Leone, Guinea, Liberia, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Haiti, Syria, Yemen, Somalia, Sudan, and South Sudan. That's 13 countries, and we will fight. And Nepal! Nepal! We will fight for them all. None of us are free until all of us are free. None of us are free until all of us are free. ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
All right, let's give it up for them. Our next speaker is Miriam Pineda, a TPS holder from SCIU.
Buenas tardes, buenos días, compañeros. Mi nombre es Toritud DJ presente.
Hello, everybody. My name is Miriam Pineda, and I'm proud of the Union 32BJ.
Vine aquí escapando de la amenaza de muerte en Honduras hace 20 años.
I came here to escape death threats in Honduras more than 20 years ago.
Fui amenazada con no existir en Honduras debido a mi trabajo como líder sindical en las instalaciones de la empaca Chiquita Brand.
I was threatened not existing in Honduras because of my work as a union leader in Chiquita Boxing Facility.
A uno de mis compañeros de trabajo lo degollaron y también me podrían matar si me regreso.
One of my coworkers had his throat slashed, and I could be killed too if I'm sent back.
Pero no puedo y no permitiré que el miedo me impida luchar para proteger a los Dreamers y a los beneficiarios de TPS.
But I cannot and will not let fear stop me fighting to protect Dreamers and TPS holders.
He estado trabajando aquí por 23 años, que es toda mi vida.
I've been working here for 23 years, which is my entire working life.
Trabajo duro, pago impuestos y siempre pago mi renta a tiempo. Todo lo que he ganado lo he gastado aquí y he contribuido a la economía de este país.
I have worked hard, paid taxes, always pay my rent on time. Everything I earned, I spent here and contribute to this economy.
El TPS ha ayudado a hacer de los Estados Unidos un hogar para mí y estoy orgullosa de mi trabajo aquí.
TPS has helped me to make the United States home for me, and I am proud of my job here.
También soy una abuela orgullosa, criando a mis nietos yo sola.
And I am a proud grandmother raising my grandchildren all on my own.
Si se elimina el TPS, perderíamos mi jubilación y no tendríamos dinero con el cual sobrevivir para cuidar de mis nietos.
If the TPS is terminated, I will lose my retirement and I will have no money to survive or take care of my grandchildren.
No podría encontrar un nuevo trabajo aquí, ya que de pronto estaríamos indocumentados.
I won't be able to find new work here because I would suddenly become undocumented.
Si me deportan, me separarían de mis nietos.
If I am deported, I will be separated from my grandchildren.
Si me regresan, me podrían en gran peligro.
If I go back, you will be put me in great danger.
Creo que es sumamente importante que todos se sientan empoderados, alzar sus voces.
I believe that it is important that everyone feels empowered to speak up.
Es por eso esto que dedico el tiempo libre que tengo durante los fines de semana, ayudar a capacitar a mis hermanos y hermanas del sindicato sobre cómo convencer a los legisladores de que actúen ahora, no después.
That's why I spend the little free time I have on weekends helping to train my union brothers and sisters on how to convince lawmakers to act now, not later.
Como mis amigos y compañeros de trabajo con DACA, hemos vivido aquí legalmente por años echando raíces y creando familias.
Like my friends and co-workers with DACA, we have lived here legally for years, planting roots and creating families.
Además, al igual que los beneficiarios de DACA, el destino de las personas como yo, que tenemos TPS, se encuentran ahora en las manos de los tribunales. Si dictan sentencia en nuestra contra, podríamos perder todo lo que hemos contribuido aquí tan pronto como el mes de mayo.
Also, like DACA holders, the fate of like me with TPS is now in the hands of the courts. If they rule against us, we could lose everything we have built here as early as this May 2020.
Muchas gracias, compañeros, y sigamos adelante. Toritud DJ presente.
Thank you so much, and let's keep moving forward. Gracias, señora. Let's give it up for Miriam Pineda. Come on, let's give it up for her.
So, up next we have a musical performance by two very talented people we have here, Manny Wells and Kojo. Woo! Give it up for
them! How's everybody doing today? Undocumented! Undocumented! My name is Manny Wells. I was born in Nigeria and I grew up not too far from here, Laurel, Maryland. Hey, Nigerians in the house! Hey, okay. Like a few people, it's okay. Like I said, my name is Manny and I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be here. If you're happy to be alive, say ooh la la. Say ooh la la. So this first tune we're gonna do is a rendition of a popular song. It's called All Right. And I'm here to just encourage everyone that no matter what we're going through right now, we're gonna be all right, we're gonna be good. Look to your right, look to your left. We're all family, we're brothers, we're sisters. So just hug somebody real quick, man. Look to your left and hug somebody real quick. Hola. Yeah. Try to put fear in my heart. They don't know that I'm filled with the grace of the Holy Spirit. We hated popos, they wanna kill us and die in the streets for sure. They wanna take DACA from us, they wanna take our rights from us, but I'm gonna be alright. If you're happy to be alive, say ooh la la! Undocumented! This next song is called Yale. It's about being free. Yeah. I said maybe if we had the money, we'll be free. Maybe need love. Yeah, oh yeah. We don't know where to find it. Yeah, 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 oh yeah. We just wanna be free. Yeah, 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 oh yeah. We just wanna live life. Yeah, 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 oh yeah. We just need love. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. We don't know where to find it. Yeah, 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 oh yeah. I saw plenty people, yeah. By on it or the every day I pray and beg for grace. So I saw plenty people, yeah. By on it or the every day I pray and beg for grace. So Timo Balo, Atalapia, Timo Balala, Ami Abati, Timo Balo, Atalapia, yeah. Timo Balala, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ami Abawi, just wanna be free, yeah, 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 oh yeah. We just wanna live life. Everybody say yeah, hey, yeah, oh yeah. We just need love. Come on, let's go, yeah, oh yeah. We just need love. Come on, let's go, yeah, oh yeah. We just wanna be free, yeah, yeah, yeah. We just wanna live life, oh. We just need love. We just wanna live. We just wanna leave. Undocumented. Undocumented. If you're happy to be alive, say ooh la la. I love everyone here. Together we are one. Home is here. Keep fighting. Keep believing. Stay hopeful. Stay optimistic. We're gonna be all right. Love you. Thank you.
Sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede. All right, thank you so much, Manny. Come on, let's give it up.
Everywhere we go, people wanna know. People wanna know who we are. So we tell them, we are the immigrants. We are the immigrants. The mighty, mighty immigrants. The mighty, mighty immigrants. Fighting for justice. Fighting for justice. And their families. And their families.
Up next, we have Randy Whitegarden from the American Federation of Teachers.
So, are you ready to fight? When I look at who is here, by the way, my name is Randy Weingarten. I am the president of the American Federation of Teachers, and 1.7 million educators and nurses are here to support you. When I look around in front of the Supreme Court right now, I see America. This is America. You are America. And the reason we had DACA and TPS in the first place is because there were politicians like President Barack Obama and before him Republicans and Democrats alike who understood that immigration is the heartbeat of America. We have to get back to that place. But in the interim, in the meantime, we need to use every bit of power we can have, including the court, to try to create fairness for DACA recipients and for TPP recipients. Are you with me? Because home is here, and home is here for everyone who is here. We represent thousands of educators and nurses who are now DACA recipients. People who are our neighbors, who are our friends. I don't have to convince this group of people who are sitting here or standing here in the rain of that. But what I do need to say to the President of the United States, to those in Congress who have no heart, that we will fight to make sure this country finds its heart again, finds its soul again, because from 1619, from 1776, our country has been a country of immigrants. The educators of this country will say that over and over again. We will make sure that DACA recipients are not nameless or faceless or can be demonized or dehumanized. You are the human fabric of this country, and we will support you.
Thank you so much. Up next, we have Karina Alvarez from the National Education Association.
Wow. Hello, everybody. My name is Karina Alvarez. I have to do this. It's small. So I'm a teacher with Edgewood ISD in San Antonio, Texas, and co-founder of Laredo Immigrant Alliance in Laredo, Texas. So my work in the movement started with one student. I remember planning for the presidential elections at that time. I planned a mock election with my second grade class. So my whole class ended up voting for Hillary Clinton, right? I teach bilingual students. So majority of them have immigrant parents, first generation, right? So I knew when I went home back that day, I thought that was going to be the reality. But it wasn't. So I remember their faces the next day. And it was sad seeing them, right? Because they knew. They heard conversations at home, right? Their parents. One of my students said, well, I have to go back to Mexico because the leader of this country doesn't like Mexicans. Right. It was then that I knew I needed to do something, that although I was scared because I too was undocumented, I'm undocumented, I have DACA, DACA wasn't enough, and it has never been enough. I needed to be strong for my students, their families, my family, my parents, and my own son, who was their age. I was in their parents' shoes. I still am. I knew that as an undocumented person working with DACA, as a teacher, even I was at risk of not seeing my family and friends who are also undocumented and living in a high militarized border, Laredo, Texas. Risk of having my dad profiled and detained because of the color of his skin and what he drove due to the racist laws in Texas called SB4. Every day I feared a call saying my dad was arrested by BP or the police or the sheriff for just a minor traffic infraction. I needed to act. Although I'm living in San Antonio, I needed to do something for my community back home in Laredo. I was outraged and scared. I soon found light in people who believed that we needed to fight back right now against the narrative that was being spewed and policies like SB4 that separated our families here in the U.S. and those coming to seek refuge. Knowing this, I knew, like most of us, that I needed to organize to keep our families together. I then co-founded Laredo Immigrant Alliance in Laredo, Texas, an organization that is made up just like folks like myself, who are the most resilient people I've ever known. Border folks are the strongest people that you can meet. Living in militarized lands, having checkpoints everywhere, that is all you know. So thank you allies for standing in solidarity with our community and joining our voices to push back and say not only do we want more than DACA and more inclusive immigration reform that includes citizenship for all and for everybody, we also say no more to concentration camps. No more separating of our families. No more of these MPP tents and policies like Remain in Mexico, and no more policies like SB4 that are terrorizing our families. This fight is for all of us, for our original dreamers, TPS, asylum seekers, for those that didn't get to apply for DACA, and are under current deportation proceedings, all while still being resilient, and for our undocumented youth. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, Diana Rodriguez Davila from the New York Immigration Coalition.
Hello, everyone. My name is Diana Rachel Rodriguez Davila. I'm a bit nervous. The first time I gave a speech, I cried. I'm hoping not to cry today. What is the American dream? We are the American dream. My family immigrated from Mexico when I was 2 years old. I'm 21. My parents, they finished up to 6th grade. But guess what? This semester, I'm finishing my bachelor's degree. Our parents are the original dreamers. We are here because of their sacrifice, their hard work, and dedication. Those long hours of work has paid off, and they will continue to pay off with us improving. I was in Washington, D.C. 5 years ago. I was in high school, and I remember somebody told me, if we're not at the table, then we are on the menu. That inspired me. Over the past 5 years, and thanks to DACA, I was able to intern with State Senator Jose Peralta, the prime sponsor of the DREAM Act in New York State. I was able to intern with Her Justice, which is a nonprofit organization that supports domestic violence victims. This past January, I was interning with the first elected dreamer in Albany, Assemblywoman Catalina Cruz. However, I would have not been able to do this without the support of my parents, without the encouragement of my friends who are here, and without the support of so many of you who have encouraged me to continue pursuing. And one day, and I encourage everyone to be active in your community, be active in the elections, be active in anything that involves us. Because one day we may be sitting in that Supreme Court, but as Supreme Court justices. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, Lyra Kim from Nacasek. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I feel the love today. Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me in the back, too, over there? My name is Lyra. I'm with Nacasek, if you can't tell from my headband. And I'm one of the core marchers that walked all 230 miles to be here at DC. Thank you. It's so amazing to be here with you all. I was one of the many who lived in the shadows in fear of being seen. But now, surrounded by your love and power, I feel brave. I met many people I came to love along my journey over the last 18 days. Thank you all for truly being my family. Today, as we stand outside the Supreme Court, I want to ask everyone to think about some necessary reminders I believe we need as one community. First, I want everyone to think of a time before DACA. For me, uncertainty was almost unbearable, and anxiety about my future followed me every day. But my family, my loved ones grounded me and reminded me that I'm somebody. that I'm somebody that deserves full and equal rights. Things were hard, but there was good too. I know, because I'm still living my life before my DACA. Because I didn't qualify for DACA, I have yet to feel the relief that DACA recipients and their loved ones felt when DACA was announced 7 years ago. I used to feel so bitter whenever I would be called a dreamer, or undocumented people would be called DACA recipients, because I felt like my existence and my struggle was being erased. And so my second reminder is that DACA is not enough. TPS is not enough, and the fight is only just starting. 1 million protected undocumented immigrants out of 11 million is not enough. What happens to the most vulnerable of us can happen to any one of us. Our fates are intertwined. We must remember that this immigration system, from its first laws, were racist, sexist, classist, and queerphobic. The dreamer narrative, the good immigrant narrative, excludes the older folks, our parents, the formerly incarcerated, the disabled, and the poor. Because we must be united as one family. Because we are one together, we must ensure that not even one of us is left behind in our fight for justice and equality. DACA and TPS must act as springboards for a greater fight, which is a path for citizenship for all. Earlier I said I was here to give us all some reminders. But I'm also here to call for action. That's right. Yep. As we were walking here, people kept asking us, how are your feet? How are your legs? And I fully expected to say at the end of this journey, I'm tired. That's what I thought I would say. But the truth is, my body, heart, and mind are all stronger. I'm stronger than ever. With every mile that I walked with this community, I felt more empowered. DACA and TPS are crucial steps, but we want more. Yes. We were ready to fight the good fight, and we will not go gently. And if you feel compelled to join the movement, I say to you, go seek out your local community organizations. Ask them, what are we doing to work for citizenship for all? Start conversations with your family and friends. We didn't get DACA and TPS through waiting. We rose up as a community and said we will not go quietly. And I want to say to you all, we are stronger than ever. We are stronger than ever. We are here as one family, and we will fight. Yes. Yes. And lastly, I want to say to everyone that may not be here, that's still in the shadows like I was, that when you feel alone, call for us, and we will come to you. Call for us, and we will fight for you. Thank you. Citizenship for who? Citizenship for all! ¡Jesuita! 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 ¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede! Yes, we can! Yes, we can! Thank you. 감사합니다, 여러분!
Alrighty, give it up for NowThis. I also had the pleasure to walk through the city of Baltimore when they came through. All right, up next we have NAACP President Derek Johnson, also a plaintiff in the lawsuit. Please give me a warm welcome for him.
You know, for all of you who marched over 230 miles to be here, we stand here representing the oldest and largest civil rights organization in the country. Behind me is Brad Berry, our general counsel, and Jeanette Leward, our deputy general counsel, who brought the DACA lawsuit. Because as African Americans, we understand the journey of 230 miles because we have been fighting this fight for over 400 years. It is a journey that we understand clearly that when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. It is an understanding that an attack on any communities of color is an attack on all communities of color. And DACA is not only about the Latino community, it's about African immigrants as well. It's about Asian immigrants as well. It's about European immigrants as well. It is about America owning its promise, and America will only own its promise when we fight so we can win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Now understand, as we stand out in front of the Supreme Court, it is a journey that we will continue to fight. Whether it's DACA or TPS or any other policy that germinate out of the White House that's racist to its core, coming from a racist president, seeking a racist outcome that don't reflect who we are as America. There is a statue in New York of a woman who stands in the middle of a river with a broken chain on her ankle, understanding that this country is built on immigrants. There is no America without immigration. There is no prosperity without immigration. There is no reality of fulfilling this democratic dream if we don't allow many of you in this crowd to fully participate based on a promise this nation gave you. And just like the Dred Scott decision in the 1800s that told black folks that you had no rights that white folks were bound to uphold, we stand here to say that is a lie then, that is a lie today, and that when this nation make a promise, they must uphold it, and when they don't, we will fight to win. When we fight, we 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 win.
So, say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here. So we know that today the Supreme Court is hearing the DACA case and a case about people who were murdered by Border Patrol agents. I want to now introduce Eduardo Garcia from one of the organizations in the Southern Border Communities Coalition and some of those family members.
Thank you all for being here. I just want to let you know that there is a very important case after the DACA case today. An officer for CBP went to the fence, put his gun through the fence hole, and shot a Mexican teenager in Mexico multiple times, even when he was on the ground, killed him. He now says that he can't be sued by the family. One of the families is here. The other families are in the court today. I want to introduce you to the grandmother of this boy who is going to tell you about this boy. We cannot let CBP say that they don't have to be accountable. They have to be accountable like any other police officer.
Hola, mi nombre es Taide, vengo de Nogales, Arizona, y vengo a pedir justicia por mi nieto. Este a mi nieto.
Hello, my name is Taide Elena. I come from Nogales, and I came to demand justice for my grandson. This is my grandson.
A mi nieto lo mató un agente de la patrulla fronteriza. Tiró 16 balazos a México y 10 dieron en el cuerpo de mi nieto por la espalda.
My son was killed by a Border Patrol officer. This Border Patrol officer shot at him 16 times. 10 of those bullets impacted in the body of my grandson.
Y nosotros estamos aquí, por supuesto, apoyándolos a ustedes como jóvenes, porque mi nieto tenía 16 años cuando murió, hoy tuviera la edad de alguno de ustedes.
So we are here today to support you all because my grandson would be your age. He was 16 years old when he was killed, and at this moment he would be as old as many of you in this crowd.
Apoyamos también el caso de Sergio Huereca porque es relevante para el caso de mi nieto.
We support Sergio Adrián's case because it's relevant for the case of my grandson.
Nosotros les pedimos a ustedes su apoyo para que la Corte decida un juicio justo. Y por supuesto, para que ustedes también tengan ese apoyo, el apoyo de nosotros y también reciban lo justo, lo que es justo.
We are here today to ask for your support. Please support us because we are also here to support your struggle. We want the Supreme Court to give justice to all of us, for DACA people and for the victims of Border Patrol violence.
José Antonio vive. Se sigue.
José Antonio vive.
La lucha sigue.
La lucha sigue.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
Buenas tardes a todos, a todas, a todes. Primero que nada, quiero darle las gracias. ¡Power! ¡Power! It looks like they're coming out of the court, folks. The doors are open. Let's make sure that everyone in that building hears our voices. ¡Sí se puede! 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 Undocumented! 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 Here to stay! 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 Home is here! Home is here! Home is here!
All right, our friends of the DACA plaintiffs are coming out. Let's give them a cheer. Come on.
My name is Bill. I'm a family doctor. We want justice for our people. We are the people too. We want justice for our people. My parents work long hours at the restaurant to help our family achieve the American dream. Following their example, I went on to become the first undocumented person to graduate from UNSF medical school. I am also a graduate of the University of California, Berkeley,
here, where is it going to happen? Think about that. I'm Allison Duarte from McAllen, Texas, a border town. And just like the grandmother here said, I've seen Border Patrol take action against my people. If you all remember the case of Claudia Patricia, the Guatemalan woman who was shot by a Border Patrol agent, you know what the difference was
between the case that we are hearing here about and Claudia Patricia's, a border. You don't hear a case about Claudia Patricia because she was shot within American jurisdiction. Jose was shot on the other side, on the Mexican side, and that's why it became a problem. We are an issue of jurisdiction. Our legality, our humanity is an issue of jurisdiction. That's right. Think about that. I live 7 miles away from Mexico, and I can't cross. I see people being shot. I see people in the concentration camps because that's what those things are. Those things are concentration camps. People are sleeping on the floor on mailer blankets, on the floor. Babies, toddlers, other kids changing their diapers because their parents are caged. We are bringing now the plaintiff, but I want you to think about that. Our existence is an issue of legality, an arbitrary notion that this government created. Yeah. If you're brown, if you're black, even if you have citizenship, you know that that citizenship doesn't grant you protection from police brutality and from other matters. We gotta fight this. This is bigger than citizenship. Streets! Take on the mic.
All right. Group 1 here is some of the DACA recipients and undocumented people who were in the courts. Abigail Garrido from Lucha. Martin Batalla from Make the Road New York. Marina from Chirla. Mariana, excuse me. Ingrid Vaca, representing mothers of those without DACA. Maricruz Abarca from Casa.
My name is Abril Gallardo Cervera. I am the hija de Raúl y Sandra, which are present right here in my heart today. And Arizona is home. I'm an organizer with Lucha, Arizona. And this morning, when I walked in those steps into the Supreme Court, I was feeling all kinds of emotions. I was feeling cold. I was feeling nervous. And one thing I remember is that I had to take my parents, which are undocumented, and my siblings who have DACA, but also all of my Arizona community who are undocumented, and my black brothers and sisters who are also, many of them, undocumented. So as I was sitting on the court, it was a big room. There was like 300 people in there, and we were all the way in the back. My body felt uncomfortable. I was so tight and I was shaking. And then I started to feel warm with the bodies of the people that were sitting next to me. And as I was sitting on the bench, I was trying to look up to see like some of the flowers of decorations that they had. And the only thing that could come on my mind are two things. That no matter what, as I walked out of that room, we got each other. The arguments that happened there, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen in June of in 2020. But what I know is that we got each other. And the second thing is that our liberation is connected to everyone's liberation, to our planet, to worker rights, and that we have one thing to do. That is our duty to fight for our freedom and to fight for our collective liberation. No matter what happens, we got each other because home is here.
It's cool. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. My name is Martin Batalla Vidal. I'm an immigrant, member of the LGBT community, and a member of Make the Road, New York. I'm also the lead plaintiff in the New York DACA case that was heard today in the Supreme Court. For the past 5 years, DACA has allowed me to live a life I never dreamed of growing up undocumented. DACA has opened so many opportunities and allowed me to the ability to pursue my ambitions. I'm pursuing a college degree in occupational therapy. DACA gave me strength to talk about my undocumented identity and to stay here before you to say I'm a proud gay member. Sorry, it's cold. Thank you. On September 5th, 2007, when DACA was signed, I filed a lawsuit with the help of Make the Road New York, the National Immigration Law Center, and Yale Law School. And from that moment, the support from my family, friends, allies, and people in my community just like you gave me faith. When more people filed lawsuit in California, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and New York. Through the process, I have built relationships with other plaintiffs from across the nation who have become my family. Together, we have brought the fight to the Supreme Court. I'm grateful for all the people that have worked tirelessly to get us where we are today. For my mom, all our parents, who worked so hard to give us an education and better opportunities. They are the original dreamers. I'm also grateful for the attorneys, the law students, the advocates, the organizers, and the list goes on and on. There were the Supreme Court. There were a lot of tough questions for both sides, but what I know best is how I feel and what I hope. I hope the justice will think of not only the law, but also the real world consequences for me, other DACA recipients and family, and this country if DACA is terminated. I'm proud that our stories and our sides have been heard in the Supreme Court. As we saw with the census case last year and other past cases like healthcare, the result can be different than what most people expect coming out of the argument. I hope the justices would think not only of the law, but the real world consequences for me, DACA recipients.
Ahora con Make the Road New York, soy una mamá y también soy una de las demandantes en el caso de DACA. Es con mucho orgullo y con mucha emoción que estoy aquí peleando por familias como las mías para que permanezcamos juntos. Mis hijos son la razón más grande que me han movido a estar en este movimiento y por los cuales he caminado 230 millas desde el estado de Nueva York hasta Washington, D.C. Mi esperanza es que los jueces, hoy después de haber culminado este evento, vean nuestra humanidad, nuestros valores y de las maneras diferentes que hemos contribuido a este país al que le llamamos nuestro hogar. Yo estoy segura y me siento confidente de que vamos a ganar y que la historia va a estar de nuestros lados y los jueces van a votar a favor de DACA. Muchas gracias, sí se puede. Home is here! Home is here!
We'll try to take a few questions and then
no,
we're going to try to take some questions and then we're going to go ahead and let others speak, but I know that there are others that want to speak as well, but we'll try to take some quick questions and then we'll go from there. Any questions?
Yes. Can I ask Secretary Napolitano, who actually put DACA in place?
Sure. Secretary Napolitano.
Hi, I'm Janet Napolitano. As the Secretary of Homeland Security, I authored the memo that created the DACA program, and now I'm privileged to serve as the president of the University of California, the first university to sue to sustain DACA. I'm here with former Assembly Speaker and current board chair of the university, John Pettis. We're here. We have 1,700 plus DACA students in our student body. They're undergraduates, they're law students, they're medical students, and so the interest in this case, as you might imagine, is immense.
So my name is what even Justice Breyer said today, and I need to get you to look at the cameras or they'll kill me. You can move over here a little bit. Is what's the point? if we send this back and all they have to do is sort of jump through some sort of rhetorical hoops, what's the point?
Well, I think that it's more than rhetorical hoops. They have to really do an analysis of the benefits that DACA produces, which are substantial and have been evidenced by and in all of the amicus briefs that have been filed. So I think and would hope that if they actually did a real analysis of DACA, they would recognize that this is a valid exercise of the executive's authority.
My name is Greisa Martinez Rosas. I represent 500,000 undocumented immigrant youth as part of United We Dream. I am undocumented, unafraid, and here to stay. I stand here in this courtroom being really clear that the lives of more than 700,000 undocumented people are at stake. And I'm optimistic that the Supreme Court justices will file on the side of justice. But whether or not they do that, one thing is clear: undocumented organizing and young people across the country will continue to fight. We will continue to win. We will continue to establish the rule of law, because at this moment, it is undocumented young people that are standing to defend the democracy that we also cherish. We're excited that United We Dream, our partners at NILC and all across the country have been here. 3,000 people are outside the courtrooms, and we believe that we will win. And with that, I'll pass it over to Mr. Ted Olson, who defended the case.
Can you lower your hand, Mike, please? Yeah, I can and I will.
DACA was a program announced and administered by Secretary Napolitano. It made perfect sense to designate individuals who came to this country as children, who've been vetted, have committed no crimes. The government doesn't have the authority or the power or the resources to move with respect to deportation proceedings to all the people that it might. So these individuals are the last persons in the world that we want to evict from this country. This policy made perfect sense to everyone. Most people realize that. This administration does not want to take responsibility for terminating it, and gave the excuse by the Attorney General Sessions that it was unlawful and therefore had to be terminated. That was an excuse that makes no sense. The DACA policy was lawful and constitutional. And so the reason why the Attorney General and the administration said that they were terminating it because it was unlawful is that they did not want to take ownership of the decisions. They did not want to be responsible or accountable to the people of this country and to all of the individuals involved in this program, that they were going to enforce the law against them. If they had done that, they would have had to explain to people what this program has meant and why it was being terminated, and they would have to take the blame and responsibility and accountability. And the reason they did not want to do that, they did not want to take responsibility for the decision, and so they said they had no choice. They had no discretion. That's what we were arguing about in there. If they had reasons and that to explain, to justify their decision, they would have done it. They didn't, and they can't, and they won't. We were asked during the court, well, what difference does it make? It'll be sent back and they'll make the same decision. They'll explain the reasons. I don't think so. I don't think they want to take responsibility for this decision. They don't want to explain it to the American people. They don't want to own this decision, and they won't do it. If we are successful, and I believe we will be, the court will say that decision was not justifiable. It was not consistent with the rule of law. You can't justify it that way, and it can't be sustained that way. Now go back if you want to do it and do it right. They won't do it.
And if the court doesn't do what you think, if the court does sustain the decision, it doesn't even have to say that DACA was illegal. It could say it's not reviewable. It could say all kinds of things. What will be the impact of that? It would be in 2020, and it could probably be in June of 2020, an election year. What would be the impact?
Well, the thing is that that's one of the reasons they won't do this. If they had to make this decision in 2020 in an election year, they would have to explain why they were making this harsh, cruel, mean decision. These individuals have become part of the community. They've had jobs. They've supported themselves. They've had tens of thousands of children. They've become a part of the community, they have jobs, they've served in the armed forces. You're going to rip them out of that when they came here as children and threaten them to be sent to countries that they don't even know, where they may not even understand the language. They're not going to do that, because if they have to take that's what our government is all about. If you're going to make decisions, you have to take accountability and responsibility for those decisions. If you're afraid to do that and don't do it, that's what will happen. They won't make that decision.
So how did you explain the work permit? Under what authority does the administration have to give 800,000 work permits out?
The Congress of the United States has passed a statute that says that if a person is in a deferred action category, that person may be given, and there's federal regulations and federal statutes, that person may be given authorization if they apply for it, if they meet all of the standards, and it makes perfect sense that someone that the administration has decided is not going to be deported is in a position to support himself or herself or her family and be a part of the community rather than be dependent upon the government. So once the decision is made, there are statutes and regulations that authorize the application for permission to work, and those are laws which the government hasn't even challenged.
Which statute provides the work permit law?
Well, we'll get that to you. I don't have a particular citation. We'll get you the actual citation of the statute. Believe me, no one challenged that in there. It is a law of the United States, and the government doesn't dispute that.
¿Algunas otras preguntas que tengan para nosotros? Sí, María.
En español, pero breve. ¿Les preocupa que las preguntas de los jueces conservadores tendían a inclinarse a apoyar la postura del gobierno de que esto ni siquiera está sujeto a una revisión judicial?
Mira, nosotros tenemos mucha esperanza que vamos a ganar en la Corte Suprema porque sabemos que es legal, que trabaja para nuestras familias y protege a más jóvenes indocumentados. Estamos listos para seguir luchando y estamos optimistas que ellos van a estar en nuestro lado también. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias. Head to the rally. Yep. Yeah.
Hi. Good to see you again. I'm well.
Thanks for being out here, huh? Yeah. Thanks for all your help with this.
Where was the UC social media? We're going to do yeah, we'll be waiting right here. Okay. Thank you. So then at 12 we will be Alright, thank you.
I don't know where Maddie is.
Do you know where she's
Okay, where's the Hill reporter?
He's over. I think Valerie's grabbing him. Yeah, he told him to be right over here right now. Maria, do you want me to carry your coat for you?
¿Esas son oaxaqueñas? Y nunca pensé que tendría la oportunidad de estar en este edificio que that was not made for people of color like me. As we went in, we were sitting in the back, and I started reflecting. The chairs, even the chairs that they gave us, were squeaky when they had in front of us better chairs. You know,
the little things that you reflect on, how they treat us. But you know what? Whatever they do, they will not take my humanity away. I'm still gonna be an immigrant. I'm a mother. I have 3 children and a grandmother. Yes, because DACA recipients and immigrants, dreamers, we have age. I was once in high school when I first heard of the DREAM Act, and I'm still waiting for a solution. How much time do they need? It's long overdue. And whatever happens, I'm gonna keep fighting with my community. I decided to become a plaintiff in the Texas case. Yeah! Yes, because we need our people to step up and be in those spaces that are not created for us. We need to believe in ourselves and in the leadership of our immigrant youth. We can do it. Obama didn't give us DACA, remember that? And the Supreme Court's not going to decide and define our future. We are going to do that. Because we stand together. Because we're going to be here no matter what. Because my home is Phoenix, Arizona. Because that's where my loved ones are. And I'm going to keep fighting no matter what sacrifice, people. Thank you so much for being here and joining us. I love you all. Home is here. 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 All right, so I want you to join me in one of my favorite chants, okay? So repeat after me. Power! 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 Transformation! Transformation! And miracles! And miracles! I want it! I want it! I need it! I got to have it! Right here! Right here! Right now! Right now! Undocumented! Sin papeles! Sin papeles! All right, so I have more people with me here that were also inside the Supreme Court, that were part of the oral arguments, and they're also going to give us a report back. I have Maria Elena Incapié from National Immigration Law Center, Ted Olson, who represented us, and Grace Martinez Rosas from United We Dream. Buenas tardes! My name is Maria Elena Incapié. I am the director of the National Immigration Law Center, and we are deeply honored to represent so many of the plaintiffs who filed the Batalla Vidal versus Trump within 3 hours. Within 3 hours of the cowardly announcement that Attorney General Sessions made on that September 5th, Martín, Eliana, Antonio, Carolina, Carlos, and so many other people said, we are here, we're not going anywhere, home is here, and we're suing Trump for his cowardly actions. Today, we are here at the Supreme Court today because of every single one of you. You fought for DACA. Because you fought for DACA, you are the embodiment of we the people. You are the embodiment of what it means to fight for democracy. You are America. You are here. Home is here, and you're not going anywhere because we are committed to fighting for you every single day for you and your families. You belong here. This is your home. This building behind us that says equal justice under law means you deserve equal justice under law. We knew when we fought beside you,
and persuaded President Obama to exercise his constitutional executive authority just the same way previous administrations, Republican and Democrats, all the way to President Eisenhower had done. We knew that we were on the right side of the law, on the right side of justice, and on the right side of history. And today, we continue to be in so. And we were in the Supreme Court today. We were with many of you, including Eliana, one of our plaintiffs, who marched 230 miles, and our brothers and sisters in Nakasek, who led us on that march. Gracias, Nakasek! And Make the Road New York, one of our plaintiffs and co-counsels as well, and all of the members. It is because of you that we are here, and regardless of how the Supreme Court rules, although I am confident, we know that we're on the right side of the law, we know that we're on the right side of history, we're confident that the court will rule in our favor. But even if they do not, I know that your dignity, your humanity is so much more than a piece of paper or a work permit. You belong here. Este es su hogar. Ustedes no van para ningún lado porque nosotros vamos a seguir luchando por cada uno de ustedes y sus familias. Esta es su casa. This is your Supreme Court. This is your Supreme Court. This is your Supreme Court. This is your government. You embody we the people, and we are so grateful and honored to walk beside you on this journey to justice. We will prevail. Justice will prevail. Home is here. 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 I want to introduce you to Ted Olson, one of the great lawyers of our times in this country, who argued today before the Supreme Court to argue for all of you in legal terms. Basically, he said, home is here, you belong here as well, but Ted will share his thoughts, his reflections on the argument and what we expect next. Ted. Thank you.
It is so important for you to be here in front of the Supreme Court to send a message to the courts, to the judges, to the people all over the country who will see this tonight or this afternoon on their television screens, to see all of you, to understand who you are, what this case means, how important it is to our country, to all of us who live here, all of you. This is so important. The decision that was made when DACA was established recognized the rights of individuals to be a part of this community, to be a part of this country, to live here, to work here, to have opportunities here, to become a part of our communities, to work, to serve in our armed forces, to be a part of things. So if people could just see how important it is that this program was promulgated by President Obama and his administration. Secretary Napolitano is here today, who is the one who signed the program into law in the first place. It is a lawful, legitimate, important program to many, many, many people, including not just to you, but the people that you work for, your families, your communities, your country. This is your country. This is, you belong here. This is important for you to understand that. And it's for the American people to see your faces, to see who you are, to see what you mean to all of the people around you and to the rest of the people in this country. I am very, very honored to be the lawyer, one of the lawyers who stood up today, also included the state of California. And 21 other states and other organizations that all supported what we were doing in court today. And we had an opportunity to make the point that when this administration decided to terminate this program, they said that the DACA program was illegal. That was made up. It is not an illegal program. It is a legal program. It's a constitutional program. It was a program that was the right decision and a legal decision that was made at the time. The reason that it was said to be unlawful by this administration is they did not want to take responsibility for making the decision to end this program that's so important to so many people and so important to this country, because they wanted to say we didn't have any choice. We had to terminate the program because it was unlawful. That meant that they were not taking responsibility. They're saying the law forced us to do it. Well, that's not true, and it's not going to be accepted. So I think the justices were listening very carefully to the arguments that we were making. And they were listening, and they heard, and they understood that if certain things are done in this country, they have to be lawful when they're done. They have to be lawful in the right way. This is a question about a rule of law, but it's also, importantly, it's about people. It's about you, and it's about your families and your communities, and this country that is very much a part of you, and you are very much a part of this country. So I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of you, to be a part of what you stand for, and to be a part in standing in court to represent you, because I feel so deeply about what your lives are and what your lives mean and how much your aspirations are and how much you are a part of all of us. So I'm grateful, and I thank all of you for your support and everyone around me that have given me the support and help to provide the opportunity for me to stand in the Supreme Court in front of those 9 justices to represent you. I'm confident that we are going to be successful. Thank you.
To the left and look at your buddy to the right and say, good job, buddy, we did it. Good job, buddy, we did it. I want you to look to the sky, and I want you to look to the ground. And I want you to be really clear that you have every right to stand on this ground right now. In a moment where Donald Trump would have us be scared and in the closet, in the moment where he has his deportation force in every street, you chose and we chose to show our faces today. And brothers and sisters and brothers, that's the courage that delivered the victory of DACA. That's right. That's the courage that ensures that our moms and our dads get up every single day to go to work. It's the same courage that lives inside of each of you. It's the same courage that allows us to stand in this courthouse to say, we are here to stay. Right? Now, sisters and brothers, I will have to tell you that I'm leaving very optimistic from the oral argument. It was an honor to be in that place. But one thing to remember is that there's another case that came after us. And we got to sit side by side by a mother whose son was killed by CBP. And we are reminded that the threat is not only to DACA, but the threat is to these deportation agents, these officers of the law that carry guns into our homes every single day. The threat is the lives on black people in every street corner in this country. The threat is to our trans brothers and sisters that just want to walk in the street. But sisters and brothers, let me tell you about the hope. The hope and the joy leaves in each and every one of us when we wake up every day, when you woke up at 3 a.m. this morning to show up here today. That's right. And sisters and brothers, no matter what happens in the Supreme Court, I know that this same courage is the one that's going to propel us to get to the next fight. And it's the same courage that we're going to use when we go to our mayors and our state legislators to demand protection for immigrants and people of color. We will not tell anyone, we will not allow anyone to say that we have to be quiet, to keep our ass small, to think about the political landscape and not ask for too much, to allow politicians to push you out of the way so that you don't speak your voice. Are we gonna let that happen? Hell no, we're not gonna let that happen. Sisters and brothers, we have come too far. We will not turn around. We will flood the streets with justice because we are freedom bound. Those are the words of a black poet, June Jordan, and they ring true today. They ring true today because when we go home and you get on those buses, we'll know in our hearts that we did everything we could to ensure that this Supreme Court took the right decision. We will know that we did everything possible to stand up for our ancestors and the people that we love. And we will know that everywhere we go, people are going to know who we are. We are undocumented, unafraid, trans, queer, unashamed. So now I'm going to end this moment with just a quick chant. And I know that Claudia already taught it to you, so I know that you're ready to do it. This is a chant that was brought to us and taught to us by the Dream Defenders in Florida, our sisters and brothers that hold it up there. And I've heard it from the lips of our brothers and sisters from the Sunrise Movement as they fight for climate action in this moment. Okay, are we ready? Yeah! Are you ready? Yeah! Power! Transformation! Miracles! I want it! I need it! I guts to have it! Okay, I need you to put the little stomp in there so that this ground can feel what it feels like when freedom fighters stomp on this ground. Are you ready? Okay, take a deep breath in. Out. Power! Transformation! Miracles! I want it! I need it! I guts to have it! I guts to have it! Right here! Right now! Hermanos y hermanas, no tenemos papeles, pero tampoco tenemos miedo. No nos vamos a rendir. Y en este momento hay una madre que su hijo ha muerto en las manos de CBP. Y en este momento la patrulla fronteriza. Y en este momento les pido que extiendan sus manos a esa corte. There's a mother in there fighting for the life and the dignity of her son that was killed by CBP. And I ask you to extend your energy and your love to that mother. And thank her for showing up just like you did today. And tell her that we're not going to forget about her. Repeat after me. We see you.
We see you.
We love you.
We love you.
La vemos.
La vemos.
La queremos.
La queremos.
Muchas gracias. No nos vamos a rendir porque sí se puede. So, repeat after me. I am somebody, and I deserve full equality right here, right now. Immigrant communities are somebody, and they deserve equality, justice, dignity, right here, right now. Our mothers are somebody, and they deserve dignity, respect, justice, right here, right now. All right, everyone, we're coming to an end. But before we do that, I want to introduce Dorian Warren to the stage. With Isaias Guerrero?
Yeah. All right. How's everybody doing? You all look beautiful out there. This is the power of our people.
every single day to wake up, to go work, and to continue spreading justice and freedom and love everywhere we go. And that's justice, and that's freedom, and we, undocumented people, create it every day. ¿Sí o no? All right. So my name is Isaías Guerrero. I'm an organizer from Community Change. I'm undocumented, unafraid, and we are somebody. I am so proud to have learned about resistance from so many of you. Somebody that I have worked with personally, and somebody that have just sacrificed everything to be here. Also, I've learned it from our parents who had the audacity of imagining a better future for us. There's been thousands of moments where this movement has been built. Remember people that marched from Miami to DC, protesting in New Orleans to protect our parents, how we fasted for days, participated in civil disobediences, and occupied the halls of Congress. And that's how we won DACA, right? Because as Esther said, when we organize, we win. When we organize, we win. When we organize, we win. So our ancestors also started the March for Liberation, and it is up to us to take the steps towards freedom for all. Because every step that we take gets us closer to liberation from racist law enforcement. We have to liberate from the criminalization of black and brown bodies, and we have to fight for liberation from policies that try to take away our dignity. Our steps carry the hopes and vision of justice for this country. And you see how all of these undocumented, beautiful people were coming down these stairs. The quote that came to mind was Martin Luther King that said, "These steps were like justice rolling down like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream." Because we are that mighty stream. We undocumented people are a mighty stream for justice that will continue flooding the streets until we win. Because that's why we're here, and we're not going anywhere, and home is here. 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 So now you feel the goodness of our movement, the feeling of justice inside of us. The commitment now is to go back into our communities and organize. Because there's more people that are afraid, there's more people that are being exploited in their home places, and there are more families that are being detained. So remember, let's go back to our communities, build justice, and that we are hermoses, somos fuertes, y somos justicia. We are justice. We are justice. We are justice. We are justice. And now I am so proud to stand here with my colleague and brother in the struggle, Dorian Warren, who's also going to share some words.
Hello, beautiful people. I'm Dorian Warren, president of Community Change, and it's an honor to stand here with the Firm family. We're the Firm family. Where's Make the Road? Where's CASA? Where's DACA? It's a privilege to be here and fight alongside you, demanding more from an administration that has tried repeatedly to strip the rights from immigrants, from black and brown people, the LGBTQ community, women, and especially women of color in this country, everyone who they think doesn't belong. We got news for them. We will fight until everyone belongs. We are here to demand more of a system that has been designed to hold us back. As the great abolitionist Frederick Douglass reminds us, power concedes nothing without a demand. Power concedes nothing without a demand. We will not be silent, and we will not submit. My ancestors didn't come here willingly, but they did have the courage to dream beyond the chains of oppression, of a world where I and all of us together could stand in front of the Supreme Court of the United States and continue the fight for the full liberation of our people. Together, we will create that world that our parents and our grandparents and our ancestors dreamed for us. We will continue to fight We will continue the fight until the struggle for full personhood and belonging, and yes, citizenship for all, is won in this country. We will continue to fight until each of us can live our lives the way we dream. Home is here! 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 We are beautiful, we are strong, and we are justice!
Hello, everybody. It was an honor for me to MC this event. We will go back to our communities, like Isaiah said, educate, fight back, and we will not let them terrorize us, not anymore. My name's Jesus. Gracias.
It's such a beautiful thing to be in community where we love, where we support, where we protect each other, and where we are ready to fight for our justice and our dignity. So repeat it. My name is Claudia Quiñones. I'm undocumented, unafraid, and here to stay. And I believe. I believe that. I believe that we. I believe that we will win. 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 Thank you.
Gracias. Get home safe.
So tell me, what you're all here? Sorry, what? Yeah, no, I'll do it afterwards. Tell me, what are you doing here? What's your mission today?
Well, yeah, I'm actually a DACA recipient in the state of Florida, and I'm here in front of the Supreme Court because it is time to create a voice for the voiceless. We cannot vote for our rights, and this includes our health care. In the state of Florida, for instance, I do not have any affordable health care options, and as a woman, I'd like to have my primary care. I'd like to be able to take care of myself and not just think of the an emergency situation. So I'm here to fight for that.
What's your personal story?
Right.
How old were you when you came here? And
I was 8 years old when I moved into the United States. My family decided to leave Colombia because we lost family members in the 90s due to Pablo Escobar and the narcotic situation. We did have our visas. We did fly over with Delta. We did everything as possible to become residents through sponsorship. But because of 9/11, the economy went down. The company that was sponsoring my father closed. And so our visas expired and our lawyers left with our money.
What are your plans? Let's say everything works out perfectly. What will you be doing as an American citizen?